There was one more thing that the Supreme Will did not say. My dear Heaven's punishment, have you ever thought of a possibility? You can't even defeat the common people's regal now. If one chose to wait for a period of time before fighting the common people's regal, the strength of the common people's regal might have already reached a level that even I can't understand. If you challenge your third brother now, you might still be able to put up a fight. You might not even have the right to stand in front of the common people's regal after a period of time. Sigh, you would bear the consequences of your own choices. Since you've chosen to persevere, I'll give you another chance to admit your defeat. The master and disciple stopped talking and looked down at the decisive battle between their fellow disciples. On the long river of time and space, the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord and Zhou Zhou stood opposite each other. The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord secretly commanded his 10 clones to charge a Zhou fight in the next second, preparing to give Zhou Zhou an opening gambit. However, in the next second, Zhou Zhou slowly raised the low-level holy artifact in his hand. King, activate it instantly. The full power of the 10 will transcendence instantly augmented Zhou Zhou fight's body. Boom. The pressure from him, originally a mid-level Supreme Will realm expert, instantly soared. In the next second, he had already reached the high level will transcend strength and was still rising. Rumble. The eternal continent was trembling violently, as if a magnitude 10 earthquake had occurred. The living beings standing on the eternal continent swayed, and many life forms were even shaken to the ground. Whoosh! There was a huge tsunami in the long river of time and space. Wave after wave of turbulent waves hit the surface of the long river of time and space, stirring up countless splashes of time and space. In the watery light, countless parallel universes were reflected. If one looked carefully, they could even see living beings in parallel universes. They did not notice the changes outside and were still living their own lives. The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord gazed at the changes in the world and felt the terrifying pressure on Zhou Zhou's body. He was momentarily stunned. The 10-dimensional true self incarnation behind him was also stunned. Then, they looked at the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord's main body. The meaning in their eyes was very simple. How did you dare to ask us to come over and challenge such a powerful fellow? You're up to no good. A Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord incarnation said to the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord. Then, he put away the myriad worlds chaos pool in his hand and turned around to walk towards his alternate timeline world. Where are you going? What else can I do? I am going home to fish. The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord clone said without turning his head. I don't want to die for you. The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord was even more confused. The clone that he had personally refined actually became a deserter in public in front of a great enemy? This was too embarrassing for him. Most importantly, he really couldn't do anything about it. This was because while his cloning mystic technique seemed perfect, it had an unavoidable flaw. Even though the clone he had refined treated him as a brother and was willing to save him when he was in danger, if they encountered a crisis where they would definitely lose, they would most likely not really sacrifice themselves to save their main body. To put it simply, they could help with a small favor, but not any big one. At most, I'll be your next main body if your main body dies. The other Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord's alternate timeline incarnations had almost the same personality as him. When the first incarnation that surrendered appeared, the other 9 10-dimensional true self incarnations also expressed their dissatisfaction. No matter how the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord begged on the spot, they ignored him and firmly expressed that they would not die for him. When the last 10-dimensional true self-incarnation was about to step into his alternate timeline world, the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord couldn't hold it in anymore. He hugged his thigh and cried without any integrity. Big brother, you're my big brother, okay? Help the main body. I really can't withstand it alone. My dear, this Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord incarnation looked at the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord's main body with pity. Surrender if you have to. It's better to lose face than your life. Of course, you can also try to compete with this third brother. I think he has a good personality. His will might be sharp, but I don't think he has any killing intent. He doesn't seem like the kind of brother who would kill. Just fight him normally and lose normally. Then, this matter will be over. As for asking me for help, that's absolutely impossible. However, even though this method is good, I still advise you to surrender directly. At least it will be more dignified. That's all I have to say. Make your choice. With that, he directly kicked Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord away, walking into his alternate timeline world and disappearing. The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord was stunned. Zhou Zhou fell silent. The experts standing in the sky watching the battle were speechless. What the hell was going on? Why did it feel like the final battle was about to end before it even started? What happened to the earth-shattering battle? Why did they suddenly feel that there was no suspense at all? They looked at the terrifying pressure that erupted from Zhou Zhou's body and felt the unprecedented fear in their hearts. A question suddenly appeared in their minds. How strong was the common people's regal now? No expert knew the answer. However, one thing that they knew was that the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord, the Third Reserve Army of the Supreme Lord, was definitely not a match for the common people's regal. What would Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord do next? Would he insist on fighting the common people's regal, or would he just surrender? The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord smiled bitterly. With a flip of his hand, the myriad worlds chaos pool in his hand disappeared. Third brother. No, it should be second brother. I surrender. With your strength, it's really difficult for me to have any thoughts of resisting you. The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord sighed. You have already obtained my position as the Second Reserve Army of the Supreme Lord. I concede defeat. Thank you, third brother. Zhou Zhou smiled gently. However, his heart was very calm. He wasn't as excited as he had imagined. Perhaps, I no longer value the position of Supreme Lord Reserve Army. When I become a true Supreme Lord, perhaps I will be slightly excited for a while. Zhou Zhou thought. He was already a powerhouse with a top-notch willpower that transcended combat strength after all. It would be strange if he was excited just because he had obtained the position of the Second Reserve Army of the Supreme Lord. Clap, clap, clap. Accompanied by the sound of clapping, the Supreme Will, God King Heaven Punishment, Lord of 10,000 Evils, and the other Supreme Will realm experts appeared around them. Other than the Supreme Will, even God King Heaven Punishment looked at Zhou Zhou with a hint of reverence. They had already seen through the battle just now. This young Supreme Lord Reserve Army was a top-notch expert with a top-notch willpower and transcendent combat power. There were very few experts of this level even in the entire Ultimate Void Great Cosmos. It could be said that he stood at the top of the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos. Such an expert, who was very likely to be the future leader of them, was naturally worthy of reverence. Greetings, Lord Supreme Will. Brother, you're here too. Greetings, everyone. Zhou Zhou said politely. Common Regal. The Supreme Will said with a faint smile. Your growth speed has exceeded my expectations again. I didn't expect you to defeat the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord in such a short period of time. It seems that Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord and I have underestimated you. The next test has to be more difficult. Lord Supreme Will must be joking. I was just lucky enough to win against second brother. Zhou Zhou smiled. The corners of the experts' mouths twitched. Lucky. They would eat *T on the spot if he had just won by a fluke. At the same time, they could not help but have a favorable impression of him. This newly promoted Second Reserve Army of the Supreme Lord was not only powerful, he was also so humble. The Supreme Will had really picked up a treasure. From today onwards, you are the Second Reserve Army of the Supreme Lord. I've upgraded your authority. What other reward do you want? The Supreme Will asked with a smile. I want to upgrade one of my Lord talents to the Extraordinary Lord talent. Zhou Zhou said without hesitation. The Supreme Will nodded when he heard that. He was not surprised at all. He thought for a moment and said, Common People's Regal. Even though I'm a top-notch willpower transcendence level expert, my Lord talent is extremely special. Therefore, even I can only upgrade your 3 Lord talents to willpower transcendence level Lord talents. As a reward, I can help you enhance one first. You can find me to enhance the remaining 2 choices when you make contributions in the future. After the 3 of them, I won't be able to help you advance to the transcendent level, the one and only Lord talent. Therefore, you have to choose these 3 Lord talents carefully. All right, Lord Supreme Will. Zhou Zhou nodded solemnly. He didn't expect that the Supreme Will, which was almost omnipotent in his eyes, could only raise 3 transcendent Lord talents. However, even so, the first Lord talent in his heart to advance to the transcendent level was definitely not a second choice. Therefore, he didn't hesitate to say, Lord Supreme Will, I want to upgrade my Supreme Luck to the transcendent level, unique Lord talent. Sure. The Supreme Will nodded gently and waved his right hand. Swoosh. Everything around them had disappeared, turning into a region that was raining laws. The Supreme Will had actually brought him back to the Supreme Domain. After advancing to the transcendent level, the only Lord talent. Even I have to go all out and not be distracted at all. Therefore, we'll advance here first. After we succeed, we'll go back. The Supreme will saw the confusion in Zhou Zhou's eyes and explained, "Yes, Lord Supreme will." Zhou Zhou nodded, and the Supreme will nodded slightly before gently tapping Zhou Zhou's glabella. A power as gentle as water flowed from the Supreme Will's finger into Zhou Zhou's will origin core and began to advance to his supreme level, the only Lord talent, the Supreme Providence. 2 hours later, Zhou Zhou was shocked to see the Supreme will reveal a look of exhaustion. "My God, is it so difficult for my supreme luck to advance to the transcendent level, the one and only Lord talent? Even the Supreme will is so tired?" No wonder the Supreme will said that he could only upgrade his 3 Lord talents to transcendence. It seemed that this was indeed true. Zhou Zhou thought to himself. What he did not expect was, at this moment, the Supreme will was also quite shocked. Even though he was limited by his ability and could only help Zhou Zhou advance to 3 transcendent Lord talents, it shouldn't be that difficult to advance. He now felt that the power he had consumed was enough to advance to 2 transcendent Lord talents. However, he could clearly sense that Zhou Zhou's Lord talent of Supreme Providence had only just advanced by half. What kind of joke is this? Is this guy's supreme luck so special? It was almost comparable to the mysterious Lord talent of the reincarnation sacred palace on him. However, even so, he still chose to persevere since he had already agreed to it after all. While the Supreme Will wasn't someone who cared about face value, he believed that Zhou Zhou would understand him, even if he said that he couldn't continue helping Zhou Zhou raise his Lord talent with his own abilities. However, he had made this promise to his most trusted and favorite disciple. In that case, he could not let his disciple down. At most, I'll use up some of my origin, the Supreme Will thought to himself. Therefore, he silently persevered. Another 2 hours passed. Finally, after the Supreme Will consumed a portion of his Water Will's origin power, the supreme luck on Zhou Zhou's body finally advanced successfully. A line of text suddenly appeared in front of Zhou Zhou. Your supreme level, the only Lord talent. The Supreme Providence has been updated to transcendent level, only Lord talent, supreme in heaven. Your specific Lord talent effect is as follows. Lord talent, supreme in heaven, supreme level, unique. Supreme in heaven. You have the power of providence that is even stronger than the founder of the great cosmos. The eternal immortal gate has already hidden in front of you. An invisible trace of eternal providence has leaked out and landed on your body. You can rely on this trace of supreme providence to find the path to becoming an eternal immortal realm expert. Supreme luck, 100% drop rate. You can see the drop rate of the enemy's loot. When looting the corpse, there's a 100% chance of obtaining all the loots. Supreme in heaven, supreme explosion rate. As the supreme in heaven, you have the protection of supreme luck. When you search for corpses, you have one chance every day to obtain 100 times the amount of loot from the enemy. Supreme in heaven, supreme loots. When you touch a corpse, you will receive loots with +2 in terms of quality, upper limit of will transcendence level. There is a very low chance of obtaining eternal immortal realm loots. Supreme in heaven, supreme eye. With supreme luck, no matter what you want, it will always appear in front of you. Even if some things are very rare, you can obtain what you want through your almost insignificant efforts. When you encounter danger, your supreme luck will imperceptibly break through your crisis. Supreme in heaven, supreme protection. You are the natural supreme prepared by the gate of eternal immortality. Any creature that is hostile to you will be killed invisibly by luck. You can also take the initiative to extract the enemy's good luck and fuse it into yourself, leaving only bad luck on the enemy. When you encounter a calamity of fate, there is a 50% chance that the calamity of your fate will be directly resolved by the supreme luck. You might even turn misfortune into fortune and obtain unexpected benefits. Supreme in heaven, immortal test. You are born as the supreme, but the supreme also has its own unavoidable tribulations. The immortals in the gate of eternal immortality have noticed your existence. You need to complete the impossible test they set for you before you can be promoted to the realm of eternal immortality. Your test is, when the low-level willpower is suppressed, forcefully push open the eternal immortal door. The following willpower will enter the eternal immortal door and be ranked among the eternal immortal realm experts. Supreme in heaven. My transcendent lord talent sounds very powerful. Zhou Zhou thought with interest. Then, he looked at Supreme in heaven's ability. The more he looked, the more he couldn't close the corners of his mouth. This Supreme in heaven was actually created by a trace of luck from the legendary immortal luck. Did that mean that if he obtained the recognition of more immortal providence one day, he would be able to upgrade his lord talent to the legendary immortal lord talent that had never appeared? He did not think too much about it for the time being. The second ability of the Supreme in heaven was called the Supreme Drop Rate. Originally, it was a super huge drop. It could only drop 50 times the loots on an enemy. Now, it could directly drop 100 times the number of loots on the enemy. This was naturally an excellent improvement. The third ability was called the Supreme Loots. Not only could the loots have a 100% chance of quality +2, but there was also an extremely low chance of an eternal immortal realm spoil of war dropping. Even though Zhou Zhou did not know how low the probability was, as long as there was a chance, he had a chance to drop the legendary immortal holy artifact. Thinking of this, he could not help but hold his breath. That was the legendary immortal holy artifact. He had never heard of even a top faction like the Daheng Ultimate Holy Empire in the Great Cosmos possessing an immortal holy artifact. Even if the other party might have them, there were very few of them. They were even unwilling to reveal it. And he actually had the chance to obtain such an immortal holy artifact. If I advance to the willpower level and possess another immortal holy artifact, I will definitely become an almost invincible expert in the ultimate void cosmos. Even that Saint Emperor Daheng would have to be polite in front of me. Zhou Zhou thought. His heart could not help but burn. He took a deep breath and forcefully quelled the excitement in his heart. Then, he looked at the innate ability behind him. Every time he saw an ability, he would nod in satisfaction. When he saw the last line of text, the smile on his face suddenly froze. The following will transcendent body forcefully opened the eternal immortal gate, walked into the immortal palace, and stood side by side with the other undying experts. Are you kidding me? Zhou Zhou muttered in his heart. Back then, Heavenly Axiom Lord had already reached the high-level willpower level, but he had failed to break through. The Sacred Emperor Daheng had already reached the quasi-willpower level. He was still trapped in his Daheng Ultimate Holy Empire, unable to take another step forward and knock on the door of the Immortal Palace. You want me to forcefully open the door of the Immortal Palace when my low level will transcend the level and stand side by side with those experts who have already reached the Immortal Realm? This Supreme in heaven is probably messing with me, right? Since when did a Lord Talent have side effects? If I can't open the door to the Immortal Palace in the low-level what will happen to me? He subconsciously muttered to himself. However, in the next second, a voice that sounded like it was joking or teasing he sounded in his heart. Naturally, you will stay in your ultimate void world forever and never be able to come to the immortal world. Who is it? Zhou Zhou was shocked and immediately shouted in his heart. What's the point of knowing who I am? The voice chuckled and said, think about how to open the door to immortality in the low-level will. That's the most important thing for you now. After a moment of silence, Zhou Zhou suddenly asked, are you immortal? You're not stupid. The owner of this voice said, your existence has attracted the attention of us bored fellows. Supreme in heaven, TSK, you actually obtained the title of Supreme before entering our immortal palace. Therefore, we are very curious about you. That's why we set this test for you. If you can complete this test, we can naturally call you Supreme. However, if you can't pass this test, then as a failed Supreme preliminary selection, you should stay in your ultimate void great cosmos obediently. What exactly is a Supreme title? Zhou Zhou hurriedly asked. You want to know? I'll tell you when you knock on the door to immortality. The voice chuckled and didn't say anything else. No matter how Zhou Zhou called out, the other party didn't respond to him. Zhou Zhou could not help but fall into deep thought. He did not expect this. The Transcendence One Lord talent that he had advanced to actually brought him such opportunities and challenges. Supreme title? This so-called title should be very important and meaningful among the Supreme beings. Otherwise, those undying existences wouldn't have specially set such a test for me because of this title. Sigh. Zhou Zhou felt blissful and troubled. What's wrong with you? At this moment, the Supreme will notice that something was wrong with Zhou Zhou's expression and asked him, Zhou Zhou was about to speak when he realized that he could not get any words out after opening his mouth. It was as if a restriction had landed on him, preventing him from saying anything about this matter. It was as if this matter was a taboo that not the life forms of the ultimate void great cosmos could know. Zhou Zhou shut his mouth. After a second of silence, he shook his head and said, "It's all right, Supreme Will. I'm just looking at my new Lord talent." "How's the effect?" the Supreme Will asked curiously. Even he couldn't see through a Lord talent with a transcendent will. When Zhou Zhou heard this, he told the Supreme Will about the effects of his Lord talent. However, he did not mention the final test and could not say it. When the Supreme Will heard that Zhou Zhou's new Lord talent could actually drop the legendary eternal treasure, he immediately opened his mouth slightly and immediately said, "You have already defeated the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord. After you refine the eternal continent and the river of time and space, come to the twilight battlefield and fight the illusionist clan with us." Many powerful enemies have come to the illusionist clan, including many powerhouses with transcendent wills. They even have a lot of loots with transcendent wills. If you drop the spoils of war on them, as long as there are enough of them, you might be able to drop an eternal treasure. We're not asking for a legendary holy artifact like the immortal holy artifact, but as long as you can obtain some eternal immortal realm treasures or inheritances, you'll have gained a lot. Towards the end, envy appeared on the Supreme Will's face. He did not even dare to think about being able to obtain an eternal immortal realm treasure in such a relaxed manner. It was actually realized by his successor. This successor of mine should have a very high chance of opening the legendary immortal gate in the future like me. One sect, two immortals. Just thinking about it made a faint smile appear on the Supreme Will's face. At this moment, he still didn't know about Zhou Zhou's test. Otherwise, he might not have thought so. At this moment, Zhou Zhou asked, "Lord Supreme Will, I have a question. In the ultimate void great cosmos, can anyone open the door of immortality when their low-level will and stand side by side with the legendary immortality? A low-level willpower will opening the door to immortality." The Supreme Will was stunned. How is that possible? I've never heard of such a thing before, and I've never seen an expert do it before. Zhou Zhou's heart sank. As expected, this was something that no one had ever done before. Isn't this Supreme in Heaven's test too difficult? Why are you asking this question? The Supreme Will said. Nothing, Zhou Zhou said bitterly. Then, he could not help but ask, "Is there really no hope of doing such a thing?" Zhou Zhou said bitterly. Then, he could not help but ask, "Is there really no hope of doing such a thing? While it's good to have ambition and arrogance, don't think too far ahead. Advance slowly and obediently. When you advance to the perfected willpower realm, then advance to the eternal immortal realm through normal methods. Don't even think about knocking open the immortal gate with the strength of the lower wills and standing side by side with an eternal realm expert. It's too exaggerated and unrealistic." When Zhou Zhou heard this, the corners of his mouth became even more bitter. How could he not know that this was unrealistic? "My Lord Supreme Will, you have misunderstood. I did not want to do such a thing. It was the legendary eternal realm expert who forced me to do such a thing. I don't want to either." However, he couldn't say such words. Even if he did, the Supreme Will probably wouldn't believe him. This kind of thing was too ridiculous after all. The Supreme Will didn't say anything else seeing Zhou Zhou's expression. He said, "Then stay here and refine the eternal continent's origin and the river of spacetime's origin. After you finish refining it, you can make preparations. Then, you can come to the dusk battlefield and fight alongside us. That's the battlefield for you," the Supreme Will said. Even he felt a little emotional after saying that. Not long ago, they had been advising Zhou Zhou not to come to the twilight battlefield so early. The most important thing was to accumulate strength. Unexpectedly, after such a short period of time, he was already somewhat eager to request Zhou Zhou to go to the twilight battlefield and fight alongside them. He really had to look at him in a different light after 3 days. Then, he didn't say anything else and left the eternal continent with a group of Supreme Will realm experts, returning to the dusk battlefield. Only Zhou Zhou, the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord, and the generals and soldiers under them were left. Second brother, the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord said somewhat inexperiencedly. Then, he patted Zhou Zhou's shoulder and said, "Since I've already given up my duty to guard the eternal continent, I'll be joining the battle at the dusk battlefield." Actually, it feels pretty good. In the past, I've always stayed beside the myriad world's chaos pool. I always thought that one day, I would catch a shocking fish, and then I wouldn't have to worry about the path forward for the rest of my life. Second brother, now that you've shattered my fantasy, it's time for me to return to reality. I had a premonition. This trip to the Twilight battlefield might not be my misfortune, but my fortune. The opportunity for me to advance to the high-level Supreme Will realm, or even the low-level Will realm, might be on this trip to the Dusk battlefield. Second brother, if I'm right, you defeating me this time is equivalent to creating me. When the time comes, I will definitely give you a big gift, the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord said. Upon hearing this, the bitterness on Zhou Zhou's face faded slightly. He smiled and said, "Then I hope that second brother can find your own opportunity as soon as possible and advance to the Supreme Will realm or even the Will realm." This was originally just an ordinary blessing. Be it Zhou Zhou or Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord, they did not care at first. However, in the next second, Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord suddenly felt his luck increase by more than a third, as if he had eaten a great tonic. He could sense that the providence on his body had already touched the threshold of the providence of a willpower expert, which meant, on this trip to the Dusk battlefield, as long as he wasn't too unlucky, he might really be able to obtain the opportunity to advance to the low-level willpower stage as soon as possible. This Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord was dumbfounded as he felt the change in his luck. Then, he suddenly thought of something and suddenly looked at Common People's Regal, who was looking at his luck in a daze. Second brother, you did this, didn't you? Otherwise, how could my luck suddenly increase so much as soon as you finished speaking? The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord asked excitedly. It should be done by my luck. Zhou Zhou was also very confused. Just now, he had clearly only given the most normal blessing. Why did the trace of immortal luck on his body seem to have been triggered? It directly activated his luck ability and used less than a trillionth of its luck power to give the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord a small blessing. Then, this bit of power returned to normal in the blink of an eye, as if the trace of immortal luck on he hadn't done anything. And the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord's luck had actually increased by a third. Wasn't this too exaggerated? Was this immortal luck? That was true. The immortal luck was the luck that only legendary eternal immortal realm experts possessed. Relying on the power of the eternal immortal luck, it was naturally extremely difficult to create another eternal immortal realm expert. However, it was still very simple to create a low-level willpower expert. I can feel that after my luck suddenly increased, I feel that the probability of me being able to advance to a low-level willpower expert has increased by at least 30%. Furthermore, my comprehension of my willpower skill, the 10-dimensional true self, is constantly increasing. It won't be long before I can completely advance my willpower skill, the 10-dimensional true self, to a transcendent skill, the 100 Realms Sage. At that time, I can directly break through the two bottlenecks and advance from the mid-level Supreme Will realm to the low-level Will realm. Second brother, you're really my second brother. Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord's attitude suddenly changed. His attitude was cordial and grateful. Those who didn't know better would think that Zhou Zhou was Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord's biological parents. Third brother, you don't have to do this. Zhou Zhou helplessly helped Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord up. Second brother, there's no need to talk nonsense. I'll do whatever you say in the future. I, Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord, respect you. If you want me to go east, I will definitely not go west. Even if you want me to fight God King Heaven Punishment, I have to fight him, even if I have to risk my life. The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord made a series of promises excitedly, making Zhou Zhou feel helpless again. Third brother, eldest brother didn't do anything bad. Why should I ask you to hit him? Zhou Zhou said helplessly. Give me an example. Let's not talk about superficial things. How about this, second brother? Look, Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord extended his right hand and saw a palm-sized miniature golden treasure vault appear in his palm. This miniature treasure vault was completely golden and emitted a terrifying aura that would never change. Could this be? Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows in surprise. This is the place where all my treasures are stored, the Spring-Autumn Treasury. The Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord's eyes were filled with joy. There was no reluctance to part with the treasure vault that he was about to lose. I used to cherish it, but I don't need it anymore. I have more important things to pursue. These will only distract me. I believe that the treasures in the treasure vault will be better utilized in your hands than in mine. That should be where they belong. Zhou Zhou looked into the spring-autumn Dharma Lord's eyes and realized that he truly wanted to hand over the spring-autumn treasury to him. He did not say anything. He only nodded slightly and accepted the treasure vault. He also had the habit of collecting treasures and also had a similar number 1 treasure vault. From this point of view, he was actually very similar to spring-autumn Dharma Lord. Therefore, he could very well understand how he felt when he gave away this treasure vault. However, this didn't mean that he was sad. On the contrary, the spring-autumn Dharma Lord, who could let go of these treasures from the bottom of his heart, had clearly reached a higher mental realm and will realm. He had already transformed. The transformed spring-autumn Dharma Lord would not be sad because of the loss of these treasures. He would only feel relieved and happy from the bottom of his heart. After that, spring-autumn Dharma Lord did not stay for long. He said a few words to Zhou Zhou before leaving. After spring-autumn Dharma Lord left, Zhou Zhou roughly took a look at the treasure vault. With just a glance, he couldn't help but click his tongue. Firearms, genetic potions, incomplete master god-tier space, vampire castle, plant life, two-dimensional small world, illusionary remains, fairy book. Third Brother's collection is quite comprehensive. The more Zhou Zhou looked at it, the more surprised he became. This was because the spring-autumn Dharma Lord's spring-autumn treasury could be said to be filled with everything. The top treasures in him, such as holy artifacts, transcendent holy artifacts, and other treasures of corresponding grades, might not have as many as Zhou Zhou's first treasure vault, but its storage was very comprehensive. From the lowest grade toilet paper to the highest grade transcendent holy artifact, it had almost everything. Unlike Zhou Zhou's first treasure vault, which only accepted top-notch loots, he would directly throw the other low-level loots that Zhou Zhou did not care about into the military merit exchange treasure vault, allowing the soldiers and ministers below to exchange freely. Not bad, not bad. Throw it into the military merit exchange system too. Zhou Zhou mercilessly threw almost all the items in the spring-autumn treasury into the military merit exchange treasure vault. Only one thing was left behind by him. It was 100 realms Saint Venerable that he had yet to fully comprehend. He looked at it carefully and immediately felt very happy. This was because he discovered that the 100 realms Sacred Venerate was a transcendent with extremely high potential. Even though it wasn't like the king on him, who had the potential to develop immortal skills, it could at least reach the potential of a quasi-immortal technique. Each of the 4 Supreme Lord Reserve armies chosen by the Supreme will indeed had extremely high development potential. The Lord of 10,000 Evils, God King Heaven Punishment, and Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord were no exception. Zhou Zhou lamented inwardly. Then, his gaze changed slightly. He removed his control over Zhou Fight, and his will return to the main body of the Reincarnation Sacred Palace. Then, he gave Zhou Fight an order. Stay in the Eternal Continent and the River of Space and Time today and refine the origin of this place. At the same time, figure out what the mysteries of this place are. I'll send my clone to refine the ultimate void battleground as well. In addition to the power of the mutant fruit in my body that I haven't completely refined, perhaps I'll be able to advance to the high-level Supreme Will realm in a few days. Sure, Zhou Fight agreed concisely. Then, he immediately flew into the sky and floated above the Eternal Continent. Then, he formed a seal with his hands. Colorful lights emitted from his body and rushed into the Eternal Continent and the river of time and space below. He connected the origin of the Eternal Continent and the river of time and space and began to refine them. In the Reincarnation Sacred Palace, Zhou Zhou watched as Zhou Fight began to refine it. He also entered his seclusion room and continued to refine the power of the mutant fruit in his body. At night, in the Reincarnation Sacred Palace, Zhou Zhou's figure slowly appeared from the void. Then he opened his eyes. In reality, he had only spent less than half a day, but there was a hint of vicissitude in his eyes. This was because during his seclusion, he had used the boundless power of space-time in the Reincarnation Sacred Palace to increase the time ratio to 1 day, 10,000 years. Then, he had cultivated for nearly 2,000 years in a real boundless universe before he ended his cultivation and woke up from the Reincarnation Sacred Palace. In 2,000 years, Not only have I completely refined the power of the mutant fruit, but I've also taken a step closer to the high-level supreme will realm. It also increased my king to mid-level supreme will realm. The myriad method star palm also advanced to a will technique and also increased to the mid-level supreme will realm. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. If it was in the past, he definitely wouldn't have been able to raise his two famous abilities to such a level in such a short period of time. However, the upgraded reincarnation sacred palace could help him do so. With a thought from him, lines of golden text appeared. Willpower skill name. King. Willpower skill class. Mid-level supreme, will realm. Introduction to willpower skill power. As a low-level supreme will realm lord on the path of a lord's will, you can mark 100% of the territory subjects and control everything they have, including, but not limited to, appearance, bloodline, skills, weapons, law skills, and even illusory fate. When you control everything that the marked subject has, the subject doesn't have to suffer any negative effects. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. The king, who had advanced to the middle stage supreme will realm, could help him augment him with all the power of him subordinates and instantly increase him by 10,000 times. Previously, he had 10 willpower powerhouses under him. If he increased the number by 10,000 times, he would have a total of 100,000 willpower transcending powerhouses. The power of 100,000 willpower transcendent level powerhouses was augmented on his body, and there was no lack of high-level willpower transcendent level powerhouses. How terrifying was their aggregate power? Able to knock open the immortal gate? This thought suddenly appeared in Zhou Zhou's mind. His eyes immediately lit up. That's right, to open the immortal gate. The most important thing was the power of the eternal immortal level. Then, if he gathered power comparable to eternal immortality through the king, would he be able to open the door to immortality? He wasn't sure, but he felt that this idea was worth a try. He looked up at the sky above him. His gaze passed through the supreme great cosmos and arrived at the ultimate void great cosmos. Then, he saw a huge illusory door standing in the ultimate void great cosmos. This huge door was completely golden in color, and there were complicated patterns engraved on its surface. Upon closer inspection, it was a historical epic tier pattern of life, forms advancing from mortal to immortal. At a glance, an ancient and majestic aura emitted from the illusory golden door. Even the knowledgeable Zhou Zhou subconsciously wanted to hold his breath. That was because this was the immortal gate. When he had the transcendent lord talent and was blessed by that trace of immortal luck, he realized that he could see this huge door. No, I can't open it. Zhou Zhou only looked at it for a few seconds before he felt that he could not forcefully unlock the immortal gate. He couldn't do it even if he had 100,000 wills and the strength of a transcendent expert. Only a true eternal realm expert can truly open this immortal gate. Even though I already have 100,000 willpower transcendent experts, I'm still not comparable to a true eternal realm expert. Then, what if I have 1,000,000, 10 million, or 100 million willpower transcendent experts on me? Maybe we can try. Zhou Zhou thought to himself. Even though this method had not been verified, there was at least hope of trying it. Then let's give it a try. Zhou Zhou set his next goal. That was to recruit more willpower powerhouses to become his subordinates and let him have greater strength. He was preparing to open the immortal gate in the future. Then, he looked at the myriad method star palm. The myriad method star palm, a mid-level will skill, could already absorb the moves of a will transcendent level expert to supplement and improve itself. Furthermore, it could still compress all of Zhou Zhou's combat strength together and instantly increase their power by 10 times, which meant when Zhou Zhou used the king, he had 100,000 willpower that transcended the power of an expert. However, if he used the myriad method star palm again, the power of this myriad method star palm would instantly reach the strength of 1,000,000 wills that transcended experts. Did Zhou Zhou become arrogant because of this? He wasn't. This was because he asked him if he could push open the door to immortality with a single palm. The answer was he couldn't. The difference between an eternal immortal realm expert and a willpower expert was like the difference between a supreme will realm expert and a legendary tier expert. The difference was so great that they were in completely different dimensions. Therefore, he didn't feel proud at all. This was because he knew that if he could not forcefully open the door of immortality when he was a low-level expert. He would be trapped in this ultimate void great cosmos forever and be threatened by the illusionist clan at all times. His pride was nothing in front of the threat of the illusionary race. Let's continue improving. I don't believe I can't do such a thing. Zhou Zhou was very happy. Along the way, he had always surpassed his realm to defeat powerful enemies. Furthermore, he was always the winner in the end. This time, he believed that it was the same. Even though this confidence came from nothing, he was willing to believe in his confidence. At this moment, a message came from his personal terminal. He looked over and realized that it was a war summary. He looked over after he opened it. This time, he still omitted a large amount of war data like before, only looking at a few more important ones. For example, he had obtained a total of 180,000 units of Chaos Divine Treasure today. In terms of holy artifacts, he had obtained a total of 5,211 holy artifacts, 12 transcendent holy artifacts. In terms of insight defection, Zhou Zhou's various clones had obtained a total of 1,233 Guy Unit 2,347 Capital Unit Soldiers, 5, 233, 282, 112, 379 God Spirits, 812,330, 4,862,341 True God Tiers, 18,212,387 Supremacy Gods, 3,784 Supreme Gods, 18 Quasi-Supreme Realms, and 8 Transcendent Level Powerhouses Experts. In addition, the Lords of the Star Alliance had also Insight Defection, 5 Guy Unit, 2,811 Capital Unit Soldiers, 323,492,391 God Spirits, 323,780,000 True God Tiers, and 551,231 Master Gods. Zhou Yu led his army and conquered a total of 3 great cosmoses in one day. This was because they weren't familiar with each other. Otherwise, they could conquer more universes. In addition, in terms of the advancement of God Spirits, a total of 3,123 Guy Units, 2, 381 Capital Units, 2 quadrillion 381 trillion 371 billion 223,481,286 Legendary Tier Advanced Grade Soldiers Low Tier Deity Level Elementary Grade God Spirits had been promoted. There were also 721,238,129,372,831 High-Tier Deity Level Advanced Grade God Spirits who had been promoted to True God Tier Elementary Grade God Spirits. Another 1,223,492,381 top-notch True God Tiers felt their Master God Tier bottleneck and applied to enter the Reincarnation Sacred Palace to cultivate in seclusion in an attempt to break through to the Master God Tier realm. Moreover, there were 8,121 supremacies and advanced grade God Spirits who had sensed the bottleneck in their advancement and were also preparing to enter the Reincarnation Sacred Palace today to advance to a Grade 1 Supreme God. In the end, there were still 56 Quasi-Supreme Realm experts who had already reached the limit of the Will Divine Transformation Realm. They were prepared to enter the Reincarnation Sacred Palace tonight and advance to the low-level Supreme Realm. Zhou Zhou's original military strength was 13,570 Guy Units, 2,333 Capital Units, 3,721,347,812,309 Soldiers, 1 Capital Unit 9, 712, 181, 138, 1927 God Spirits, 2,098,628,564,441 True God Tiers, 164,978 Supremacy Gods, 8,132 Supreme Gods, 71 Supreme Realm Experts, and 4 Supreme Transcendent Experts. Now, with the addition of these God Spirit powerhouses who had instigated Insight Defection, and the 5 Supreme Gods and 15 Supremacies Gods recruited from the Chaotic Mystery Realm, the total military strength under he had reached 11,685 Guy Units, 7,491 Capital Units, 1 quadrillion 237,328,728,932,931 soldiers. 3,123 Guy Unit 2,382 Capital Units. 2,381,239,127,812,387 God Spirits. 72. 336. 822. 222. 72 True God Tier. 125,254,605 Supremacies Gods. 11,921 Supreme Gods. 89 Supreme will Realm Powerhouses. And 12 Supreme will Transcendent Level Powerhouses. Zhou Zhou was very satisfied after reading it. The growth in other aspects under his command today was still alright. However, in terms of the growth of God Spirits, especially low-level God Spirits, it was simply terrifying. Previously, he only had one ordinary God Spirit in the capital units. More than 3,000 Guy Unit God Spirits had been promoted today, causing the number of ordinary soldiers to decrease by almost 1/6. This was because the soldiers who had fallen had all advanced to become lesser God Spirits. The reason was, he had obtained the new Lord talent. Supreme will realm body today that the strength of the subjects under him had soared to the legendary tier advanced grade, a position that was only a step away from becoming a lesser god, which meant the soldiers under him could easily obtain enough promotion energy with the blessing of the Supreme God of War as long as they casually comprehended a law skill and fought the enemy. They could directly jump from the legendary tier advanced grade to the low-tier deity level elementary grade God Spirit and enjoy the eternal body of a God Spirit. It was precisely because of this Lord talent that he had 1/6 of the ordinary soldiers today. In one day, all of them had advanced to God Spirits, causing the number of God Spirits under him to increase by more than 30 million times. This was an extremely terrifying number of gods. Zhou Zhou dared to guarantee the number of God Spirits under him had already exceeded the total number of God Spirits in the Supreme Great Cosmos, and even the Crimson Great Cosmos by countless times. Coupled with his terrifying number of 12 willpower experts, he was already the #1 Lord faction in the Supreme Great Cosmos. Even the Lords of Regal Great Solar and Regal Great Solar were far behind him. They were far from being comparable to him. However, Zhou Zhou's horizons were already higher. He had long set his sights on the ultimate void great cosmos and had even begun to seek the path of eternal immortality. Therefore, he naturally did not feel much about it. He only thought that with so many God Spirits and willpower experts under him, it would definitely be easier for him to conquer the multiverse factions in the ultimate void great cosmos. From tomorrow onwards, if he didn't subdue 8 to 10 multiverse factions in a day, he would be letting down the many God Spirits and transcendent level experts under him. Then, he looked at the number of chaos divine treasures in his hands and realized that there were already 250,000 units. Then, he gazed at Zhou 16's situation in the yellow sky great cosmos. Zhou 16's Holy Sun Divine Kingdom had conquered a total of 100 beginner grade Master God tier kingdoms and 50 intermediate grade Master God tier kingdoms today. On the High Continent, under Zhou managed arrangements, the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom had established a total of 30 beginner grade Master God tier kingdoms in the High Continent and had taken them under its wing. In the end, Zhou Zhou looked at Zhou 15's situation. Zhou 15 led the Succubus Divine Kingdom today and spent a lot of resources in the Crimson Great Cosmos to help his high-level Divine Kingdom Scarlet Lord faction establish 5 Master God tier beginner grade kingdoms and conquer the beginner God tier kingdoms established by the 3 local high-level Divine Kingdom factions. When Zhou Zhou saw this, a smile appeared on his face. He was also very satisfied, especially the progress of the Holy Sun Divine Kingdom. He had conquered 100 beginner grade Master God tier kingdoms and 50 intermediate grade Master God tier kingdoms in a day. This was completely unimaginable in the past, and now he had done it. The reason was naturally that his clones had already discussed cooperation with Heavenly, the Archvast Sun. They could freely conquer the divine kingdoms in the Yellow Heaven Great Cosmos and collect and purchase the corresponding resources for advancement. Otherwise, it was impossible for him to conquer so many divine kingdom factions in a day. When I have the strength to surpass Heavenly Axiom Lord, I wouldn't have to play so many tricks. Let's take down the entire Yellow Sky Great Cosmos. Yellow Heaven Great Cosmos has a Beyonder Lord faction. If I take down the Yellow Heaven Great Cosmos, with the vast amount of resources in the Yellow Heaven Great Cosmos, I can upgrade my territory to a transcendent territorial power in a day. Zhou Zhou thought to himself. As for now, he did not have the confidence to take down the legendary Heavenly Axiom Lord. This guy had the resume of an eternal immortal realm expert after all. Even though he failed in the end, since he dared to advance, he must have a certain level of strength. Zhou Zhou was not an unprepared person, so he did not intend to challenge this enemy with unknown strength. Then, he prepared to upgrade his territory. This was because the upgrade requirements of the territory were already satisfied. With a thought, he disappeared from the spot. In the next second, he appeared in the sky above Blazing Sun Divine Capital. He looked at the Blazing Sun Divine Capital below and silently chanted to upgrade to a Grade 3 Supreme Territory. In the next second, accompanied by 40 Z units of basic materials, 1,000 Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Divine Crystals, 1 Guy Unit Capital Units Origin Crystal, 100,000 units of Chaos Divine Treasures, and 1,000 units of Ultimate Void Crystals, they instantly disappeared. A text notification appeared. Congratulations, your Grade 2 Supreme God Realm, Lord's Law, has successfully advanced to Grade 3 Supreme God Realm, Lord's Law. Your territory has successfully advanced to Grade 3 Supreme Territory. Your Grade 2 Supreme God Astral Divine King Array has been upgraded to Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Astral Divine King Array. Durability of Territory Stone Tablet increased to 1 Guy Unit/1 Guy Unit. Your territory has expanded to 100 trillion kilometers times 100 trillion kilometers times 1 billion kilometers. All fog monsters within the territory of the new territory have been expelled. Scarlet fog will not appear in any of your territories. You have received an upgrade reward. Supreme Building Blueprint Treasure Chest, Grade 1 Supreme God. Lord Talent Notification. Your Scarlet Broodmother can be upgraded. Lord Talent Hint. Your Mysterious Caravan faction has increased. Lord Talent Notification. The strength of the clergy of your life arc has increased. Zhou Zhou nodded slightly. Then, he looked at the upgrade requirements. Construction upgrade. 50 Wood Z Unit. 50 Sand Z Unit. 50 Metal Z Unit. 50 Stone Z Unit. 1,000 Grade 3 Supreme God Divine Crystals. 10 Guy Unit Origin Crystals. 50 Chaos Divine Treasures. 5,000 Ultimate Void Crystals. 1,000 Advanced Grade Kingdoms. 100 Master God Tier Intermediate Grade Kingdoms. 10 Grade 2 Supreme God Spirits. 10 billion heroes. Zhou Zhou smiled after reading it. In his eyes, there was nothing difficult about the upgrade conditions. Basic resources, divine crystals, origin crystals, god spirits, heroes, and so on were needless to say. In terms of chaos divine treasures, he already had enough. As for the ultimate void crystal, he had already obtained it from Heavenly the Archvast Sun. The only difficult thing was to conquer 500 beginner grade master god tier divine kingdoms and 100 intermediate grade master god tier divine kingdoms. However, with these two conditions and the secret cooperation between him and the leader of the Yellow Sky Great Cosmos, this matter became extremely simple. When the three leaders of the Yellow Sky Great Cosmos started their internal strife tomorrow, his Holy Sun Divine Kingdom could take the opportunity to wantonly conquer the surrounding Divine Kingdom territories and expand its territory without limit. He was even confident that he could meet these two requirements in half a day. The Master God tier kingdoms in the Yellow Sky Great Cosmos were really only led by Master Gods after all. Occasionally, a Master God tier kingdom protected by a few Supreme God-level experts was considered rare. As for Supreme Will Realm experts, they were all Supreme Will Realm countries that led. If it weren't for the need for him to upgrade his territory without these Supreme Kingdoms, and Zhou Zhou wanting to keep these Supreme Kingdoms for future upgrades, he could have gotten Zhou 15 and them to quickly conquer a large number of Supreme Kingdoms. Then, he came to the Gate of Summoning and spent 200 Z units of basic materials and 1,000 Grade 3 Supreme God Realm crystals to upgrade the Gate of Summoning to the highest level of Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. A text notification appeared. Congratulations! Your Gate of Summoning has successfully been upgraded to a Grade 3 Supreme building. You can summon 50 billion subjects every day. You will summon 5 billion professionals from the subjects every day. Prompt. Under the influence of the unique title of the race, Glory of the Pioneer 14, the number of subjects you can summon every day has reached 11,422,517,000. You will summon 5 billion and 15 professionals every day. Zhou Zhou nodded gently after reading it. A Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Gate of Summoning had 81,585,965,500 basic subjects. After being buffed by the Glory of the Pioneer 14, it directly increased by 14 times, becoming 1,142,235,170,000 people. Furthermore, there were 15 Grade 3 Supreme Master God tiers among them. However, this naturally couldn't cause any fluctuations in his heart. Then, he took a look at the requirements to upgrade the Gate of Summoning. Construction upgrade: 100 Z units wood, 100 Z units sand, 100 Z units metal, 100 Z units stone, 1,000 Grade 4 Supreme God Divine Crystals. Territory level upgraded to Grade 4 Supreme God. Zhou Zhou retracted his gaze and returned to the Supreme God Kingdom. He sent someone to call Mu Gu, Zheng Fugui, and Carol Moeli over. A moment later, the three of them walked into the shrine and arrived in front of Zhou Zhou. "Greetings, Your Majesty," the three of them said respectfully. "The territory has now advanced to a Grade 4 Supreme Territory. Tell me about your respective improvements," Zhou Zhou said to them. Mu Gu was the first to walk out when he heard that. He said respectfully to Zhou Zhou, "Your Majesty, the Scarlet Primordial Mother Nest that I'm currently in has been upgraded from Grade 1 Supreme God to Grade 2 Supreme God. The number of mist mothers that each Scarlet Brood Mother can produce has increased from 2 billion to 5 billion. Every mist mother's mist mother world can now nurture 1 billion fog monsters. 10 billion mist mothers can foster a total of 1,000 Guy unit heads. The 3 Scarlet Brood Mothers are the 3,000 Guy unit head fog monsters. In addition, the quality and efficiency of cultivating high-quality Scarlet Heirs has also increased. Currently, I can already nurture 10 Grade 1 Supreme God Scarlet Supreme Gods in a day. As for the other God Spirits, they will remain the same as before. As long as the Scarlet Fog does not disappear, I can nurture them indefinitely," Mu Gu said. Zhou Zhou nodded slightly. It produced a total of 3,000 Guy unit fog monsters every day. If he used these 3,000 Guy unit fog monsters to nurture his soldier type, with the enhancement of the Lord talent and titles, he would be able to obtain 6,000 Guy unit Supreme God Realm soldier recruitment books in a day. Wait a minute. Zhou Zhou suddenly realized this problem. His current soldier type was actually a Supreme God soldier type that had increased in quality by +1 on the basis of the original Master God tier soldier type. As for his Supreme in Heaven, it could increase the quality of his soldier type loots by +2, which meant, tomorrow, he would be able to obtain 24,000 recruitment books and class change certificates for the Supreme Will Realm soldier type of Guy unit. At this thought, Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up. He was going to have a Supreme Will Realm soldier type? It was said that the Supreme Will Army was a Supreme Will Realm soldier type, which meant, from tomorrow onwards, he would have a powerful soldier type like the Supreme Will. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Not bad, not bad. The Supreme soldier types under him had been following him for a long time. It was time to help them upgrade and take another step forward. After becoming a Supreme Will Realm soldier type, they were almost invincible even in the ultimate void great cosmos. The reason why it was said to be almost invincible was because, according to legend, the Daheng Ultimate Holy Empire, as the top transcendent lord faction in the entire ultimate void great cosmos, had a transcendent soldier type, the ultimate martial monarch realm. Even though there were not many transcendent level soldier types, the ultimate martial monarch realm, there was only the number of a main army. However, Sacred Emperor Daheng relied on this ultimate martial monarch realm army and his invincible strength to conquer the Daheng Ultimate Holy Empire, the #1 lord faction in this great cosmos. If Saint Emperor Daheng did not have an ultimate martial monarch realm army, he could at most be considered the top expert in the ultimate void great cosmos. He could not be considered the leader of the top faction in the myriad worlds. I can't get a soldier type with transcendent will. I don't believe I can't get a Supreme Will Realm Soldier type in the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos. When I get a Supreme Will Realm Soldier type in the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos and transform them into a Scarlet Monster, I can throw them into the original Scarlet Broodmother to nurture them. At that time, we might be able to directly nurture and change into a Transcendent level Soldier type with the +2 effect of Supreme in Heaven. If we're lucky, we might be able to nurture some Eternal Immortal Soldier types. When the time comes, I want to see if Sacred Emperor Dahang's ultimate Martial Monarch Realm weapon is stronger or my Soldier type is stronger. Zhou Zhou thought to himself. With a top lord talent like the Supreme in Heaven, he was confident that he could nurture a super army for him in the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. From tomorrow onwards, he would be able to obtain 12,000 class change certificates and 12,000 Guy units recruitment books every day. No matter how low the probability of he obtaining Eternal Immortal level loots was, he should be able to obtain a few Eternal Immortal level Soldier type recruitment books and Soldier type class change certificates, right? Zhou Zhou was filled with anticipation just thinking about it. He said to Mugu after he calmed down, "Of your 30 billion mist mothers, 15 billion are used to nurture the Chaos Ruler, and the other 15 billion are used to nurture the Primordial Holy Cannon." "Yes, Your Majesty." Mugu nodded respectfully and retreated. Zheng Fuguei then stepped forward, reporting to Your Majesty. Now that the number of our mysterious merchant chamber of commerce has advanced to a grade 3 supreme territory, our probability of finding treasures has increased again. In the future, when we go out to do business, we should be able to bring back at least 10 billion God-tier treasures every time. The highest we can obtain is supreme God-level treasures. Currently, we have already begun to lay out our trade route in the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos. In the future, there will be more and more precious treasures and goods transported over from the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos. We can also sell the goods of our Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom to various multiverse factions in the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos through the trade route we established. Among the goods we transported, divine artifacts, restorative God-tier treasures, and inheritances of experts are the favorites of the various factions in the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos. By selling these goods, we have not only earned back our capital to pave the trade route, but we have also obtained a lot of profits. However, we also attracted the attention of many forces that covet our wealth. There's no lack of Supreme Will Realm factions and even Transcendent level factions, Zheng Fuguei said respectfully. Zhou Zhou couldn't help but laugh. Don't be afraid of them. Later, Get Zhou managed to arrange for more Supreme Will Realm experts and a Will Transcendent level expert to escort you. If there's really no other way, this emperor will arrange a clone of this emperor for you to protect your business path. This emperor wants to see who dares to come and rob you. A smile appeared on his face. This emperor hasn't made something like unexpected wealth in a long time. Thank you, Your Majesty. With His Majesty's help, our mysterious merchant chamber of commerce will definitely have a smooth journey and earn a lot of money. Zheng Fuguei said happily. Zhou Zhou nodded. Zheng Fuguei took the initiative to leave. Carol Moeli stood up and said respectfully, reporting to Your Majesty. Your Majesty, after the territory was upgraded to a Grade 2 Supreme God, our Permethos Sacred Boat already has 500 clergymen from the capital units, 500 priests from the capital units, 500 nuns from the capital units, and 5 life paladins from the Guy unit. These clergymen are enough to complete the War Healing Mission and the War Resurrection Mission with a 10% military strength. Also, currently, there are already 1,000 trillion high-level divine duty members of our Permethos Sacred Boat's God Spirit level. Every one of them has mastered the resurrection spells, and they can resurrect the deities of our country alone. My strength has also broken through the bottleneck and reached the Grade 3 Supreme God realm. Currently, I can revive about 100 Grade 4 and below Supreme Gods every day. Zhou Zhou nodded in a night. He would advance the Permethos Sacred Boat to the Supreme level, the only Lord talent. Otherwise, if anything happened to his Supreme Will Realm subordinates, they would really be irreparable. He did not want the death rate of Zero's subordinates to be broken because of the death of a Supreme Will Realm expert. Then, Zhou Zhou chatted with them for a while before letting them return. Then, with a thought, he appeared above Blazing Sun Divine Capital again. He looked at the Blazing Sun Divine Capital below and prepared to upgrade the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom to a Grade 2 Supreme Kingdom. Yes, not only did the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom satisfy the requirements for the advancement of their territory, but they also satisfied the requirements for the advancement of their country. He had a thought. In the next second, a text notification appeared. Prompt: you have satisfied all the conditions to advance to Grade 1 Supreme Kingdom. Do you want to advance the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom to Grade 1 Supreme Kingdom? Upgrade. The current him wouldn't be afraid of any enemy. Prompt: you have one chance to change the location of your divine capital. Do you wish to change/retain it? Retain. Prompt: your choice has been confirmed. Prompt: your lord's territory, Grade 1 Supreme Kingdom, Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, is advancing. Prompt: level up successful. Congratulations, your Grade 1 Supreme Kingdom Lord territory, Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, has officially advanced to a Grade 2 Supreme Kingdom Lord territory, Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. Prompt: you can show the level of your Divine Kingdom territory on any channel. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Then, he opened the Divine Kingdom's promotion interface. Divine Kingdom name: Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. God Lord Blazing Sun. Divine Kingdom level: Grade 2 Supreme Kingdom. Divine Kingdom flag: all stars cover the sun. Divine Kingdom army: Blazing Sun Army, low-level Supreme Army. Monster Army, low-level Supreme Army. Dragon God Army, low-level Supreme Army. 10,000 Races Army, low-level Supreme Army. Heavenly Map Army, low-level Supreme Army. Homeland Defense Army, Grade 4 Supreme God. Requirements to advance to a Grade 3 Supreme Kingdom. Territory level advance to a Grade 3 Supreme Kingdom. 10,000 Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Divine Crystals. Conquer 100 beginner Grade Master God Tier Lord territories under the Crimson Overlord, 0/100. Conquer 50 beginner Grade Master God Tier Lord territories that are not under the Crimson Overlord, 0/50. Conquer 10,000 high-level Divine Kingdom Lord factions in any Great Cosmos and possess their true God Advanced Grade Divine Kingdom Orders, 0/10, 000. 100 billion independent regional territories, 50,000 deities of their own race, 200 racial divine artifacts of any race, 500/50, 000 supreme gods, 200,000 supreme gods, 50,000 supreme gods/10, 000 supreme gods, 50, 000 Lord gods, 50,000 supreme gods. Zhou Zhou looked at the request to advance to a Grade 3 Supreme Kingdom for a while, and was surprised to discover that the request to conquer the high-level divine kingdoms in the Supreme Great Cosmos and the Crimson Great Cosmos had disappeared. He understood after some thought. Advanced divine kingdoms were no longer ordinary small lord factions. There were only so many in the entire Supreme Great Cosmos and the Crimson Great Cosmos. Previously, in order to advance to a kingdom, he had already destroyed many high-level divine kingdoms. Now, it was already difficult to find enough high-level divine kingdoms in the Supreme Great Cosmos. If such a request was included in the new promotion requirements, he could only make something out of nothing. Now that there was no such request, it made much more sense. I've fulfilled all the other requirements. Only 2 are barely considered rare. It's still the 2 requirements to conquer the territory of the beginner grade master god tier kingdom of the 2 universes. I'm rich now. I can build it in a day. When the time comes, I can continue to improve. Zhou Zhou smiled as he thought to himself. He closed the Divine Kingdom interface and quickly recalled something. At this time, the Supreme Domain has already started to hold a gathering, right? Zhou Zhou thought to himself. But tonight, he had no intention of accompanying his newly advanced Supreme Will Realm subordinates. That was because he was too busy today. He had to continue to focus on refining the willpower origin feedback brought by the Eternal Continent. The long river of time and space, and the ultimate void battlefield would advance to the high-level Supreme Will Realm as soon as possible. At the same time, the eternal inheritance of the Heaven-Breaking Fist sect that he had just obtained today and the 100 realms venerable of the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord were all worth learning. In the end, he still had to upgrade the remaining law skills to will skills to increase his strength. Therefore, he would let the promoter go to welcome the banquet. He really did not have time to go. The next day, Lu Fashu slowly opened his eyes in the Reincarnation Sacred Palace. He sensed the origin force of the will origin nucleus in his brain, and a smile appeared on his face. He had already refined the willpower and origin power reflected from the ultimate void battlefield. Coupled with the constant use of the all-origin as one secret technique, he was already getting closer and closer to the high-level supreme will realm. There's the all-origin as one secret technique. The time ratio is 1 day, 10,000 years of the reincarnation sacred palace, coupled with the constant feedback from the outside world. Relying on external forces to cultivate is indeed much faster than cultivating bitterly. A smile appeared on Zhou Zhou's face. Other than that, he had also grasped the inheritance of the heaven-breaking fist sect and the transcendence technique of the 100 Realms sage in just over 3,000 years. Fortunately, the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord did not know about this. Otherwise, he would probably want to die. The title of the #1 potential in the ultimate void great cosmos was not just for show. Finally, he had also successfully upgraded the Prometheus sacred boat, the Supreme Unique Lord Talent, to the Supreme Unique Lord Talent, the Undying Sacred Boat. After Zhou Zhou called Carol Moali over and asked her, he confirmed the effect of the Undying Sacred Boat. The effect of this Undying Sacred Boat was not much different from the Prometheus Sacred Boat. The greatest difference was that the clergy on the Undying Sacred Boat began to believe in the legendary eternal immortal realm existence, the Undying Sacred Lord. He held the power to revive supreme will realm experts. Zhou Zhou was naturally very satisfied with this. This was the effect he wanted. It didn't matter if there was anything else. This completely resolved the matter of the life and death of the supreme will realm expert. Then there was a new problem. What should he do about the life and death of a transcendent level expert? I still have to level up. The current him wouldn't be afraid of any enemy. Currently, Zhou Zhou did not have the ability to upgrade his Lord Talent to Transcendence. Therefore, he could only rely on his Supreme Will to upgrade it to this level. Then, he left the shrine and came to Mu Gu's residence. At that moment, Mu Gu was drinking tea. Zhou Zhou naturally sat down and chatted with Mu Gu as they drank. Your Majesty, you have to wait a little longer today. There are an extraordinary number of nest monsters in the original Scarlet Broodmother today. Mu Gu smiled. Let's wait, Zhou Zhou said casually. Mu Gu smiled and nodded. After about an hour, a golden stream of light flew out of the Scarlet Broodmother and landed on the ground. It was the Legion commander of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom's Homeland Defense Army, Wu Xian. Greetings, Your Majesty. Sorry to keep you waiting, Your Majesty, Wu Xian said in fear. What are you talking about? Zhou Zhou shook his head nonchalantly. Wu Xian heaved a sigh of relief when he heard that. Then, he immediately handed the 3 world rings filled with loots to Zhou Zhou respectfully. Zhou Zhou received it in anticipation. Then, with a thought, 2 recruitment books appeared in his hands. He looked at the 2 recruitment books, and his eyes lit up. Supreme Grade Soldier Type, Primordial Chaos Sage Recruitment Books. Supreme Grade Soldier Type, Supreme God Demon Recruitment Books. His heart was pounding. Was this his Supreme Soldier Type? Among the 3 world rings in his hands, 2 of them contained nearly 12,000 Guy units, Primordial Chaos Sage Recruitment Books. 12,000 Guy units, Primordial Chaos Sage Class Change Certificate. 12,000 Guy units, Supreme God Demon Recruitment Books, and 12,000 Guy units, Supreme God Demon Class Change Certificate. They added up to nearly 24,000 Guy units, which was nearly 2.4% of the Supreme Grade Soldier Type. One had to know that he only had less than 2 troops left. These 2, 4 soldier origin books were enough to change more than 80% of the troops under him to Supreme Soldier Types. Furthermore, the remaining recruitment books could almost double the number of troops under him. The reason why it was said that it was close to reaching 2.4 was because there were 10 recruitment books that triggered the extremely small probability of a Supreme in Heaven being promoted to an Eternal Soldier Type recruitment book. Immortal Level Soldier Type, Origin Enforcer Recruitment Books. Origin Enforcer Recruitment Books. Is this the name of an Eternal Immortal Soldier Type? I've indeed recruited an Eternal Immortal Soldier Type through my Heavenly Lord Talent. Could this be the only Eternal Immortal Soldier Type in the entire Ultimate Void Great Cosmos? Zhou Zhou muttered. Then, this thought could not help but appear in his mind. Even though his idea was only a guess, it was very possible. Even the strongest lord in the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos, Saint Emperor Dying, The strongest soldier type under him was only at the transcendent level after all. If there was really an eternal immortal soldier type in the ultimate void great cosmos, then Saint Emperor Daheng was definitely the most likely to obtain it. However, since he didn't obtain it, the chances of the other powerhouses in the ultimate void cosmos obtaining it were even lower. Then, this origin walker of his was very likely to be the only eternal immortal soldier type in the ultimate void great cosmos. At the thought of this, Zhou Zhou took a deep breath. Then, he handed 12,000 Guy unit class change certificates to Wu Xin and asked him to find the soldiers of the Blazing Sun Army and the other main forces to change their professions to supreme-grade soldier types, primordial chaos saints, and supreme-grade soldiers, supreme god fiends. As for Zhou Zhou, he immediately left Mu Gu's blessed land and flew out of the divine kingdom world to the gate of summoning. He called over a grade 1 supreme god-level cosmic battleship, as usual. Then, he threw all 120 Guy unit recruitment books into the gate of summoning. After that, he spent 100 grade 1 supreme god divine crystals to recruit them and arranged for them to be in this cosmic battleship. He glanced at these recruits. Then, his gaze landed on 2 of the soldiers. A text notification appeared. Soldier type, Saint Yuan. Territory, Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. Soldier type, Primordial Chaos Sage, Supreme Level Soldier. Strength level, Low-tier Deity Level Elementary Grade. Ability Overview. The body is constructed by the Heavenly Tao Origin Qi and the Heavenly Tao Laws. Every move can cause the 3,000 Great Tao to resonate with all the nomological attacks below the True God tier. Before they touch the Primordial Chaos Sacred Body, they are devoured by the power of the Primordial Chaos Heavenly Tao and transformed into their own origin energy. All of Saint Primordial Chaos attacks had the Heavenly Tao Obliteration characteristic. It could directly obliterate the enemy's true spirit mark and release the Heavenly Tao Calamity Light. It would trigger an instant death judgment on existences below the True God tier. The Primordial Chaos Saint had grasped the ultimate profundity of the Heavenly Tao origin form. It could replicate the enemy's strongest battle technique and increase it by 100 times. The Primordial Chaos Sage's body nurtured the Primordial Weapon Mount. It could summon the Heavenly Tao Holy Weapon, spear, bell, tower, mirror, and so on, that was compatible with the current battle at any time. The Holy Weapon also had an infinite obliteration effect. The target who was struck would completely disappear from all the rivers of time and space. They would not be revived by any means below the level of willpower. Skills: Supreme Arms Talent, Heavenly Saint Body, Supreme Arms Talent, Eternal Tribulation. Supreme Arms Talent, Holy Power like Prison, Supreme Arms Talent, Mixed Origin Suppression, Supreme Arms Talent, Reverse Karma, Supreme Arms Talent, Holy Way Judgment, Supreme Arms Talent, Eternal Tribulation Return to the Abyss, Supreme Arms Talent, Grand Ming Soldier Tomb, Supreme Arms Talent, Ancient Burial Ceremony of Heaven, Supreme Law Skill, All Realms Fall Together. Method of condensing the will of the Sage of Mixed Origin sealed.